Well, if you thought your boss was tough, you haven't heard about Truong My Lan, a Vietnamese entrepreneur who just raised the bar for workplace penalties. Her extraordinary tale is one that will make even the most high-pressure workplaces seem like child's play. Lan wasn't just your average entrepreneur. No, she was a woman with ambition that knew no bounds, a thirst for success that was unquenchable, and a sense of daring that was, quite frankly, unparalleled. This was a woman who wasn't content with simply climbing the corporate ladder. No, she was intent on owning the whole building, the whole block, the whole city. She wasn't sentenced to death for a petty crime like stealing the office stapler or sneaking out for an extended lunch break. That would be too mundane, too trivial for someone of Lan's caliber. She had her sights set much higher, her plans much more audacious. Her crime? Committing the largest financial fraud in the history of Vietnam. We're not talking a few thousand euros here and there. Oh no, we're talking about a colossal billion euros. To understand the magnitude of that, imagine taking a bite out of your country's GDP. A big, substantial 3% bite. That's the equivalent of walking into your local cafe and casually saying, "Atilelechi, I'll have 3% of country's GDP to go, please." It's a staggering amount of money, an amount that boggles the mind and takes the breath away. But how did she manage to pull off such a brazen heist? What kind of tricks did have up her sleeve? Well, Lan was a magician of sorts, only not in the traditional sense. She didn't pull rabbits out of hats or doves from her sleeves. Instead, she was pulling money out of Saigon Joint Stock Commercial Bank, one of the largest financial institutions in the country. This was no ordinary theft. It wasn't a smash and grab or a masked robber with a gun. This was white-collar crime at its most sophisticated, its most audacious, its most daring. This was a woman who played chess with people's livelihoods, who used the bank like her own personal piggy bank, who manipulated the system in ways that most could only dream of. And let's not overlook the element of bribery. Like a master puppeteer, she was pulling the strings behind the scenes, greasing the wheels of corruption with a little financial love. She was spreading around money, not in small, inconspicuous amounts, but in a way that made it rain like a rap star at a Vegas club. She was making it rain on officials, those who had the power and influence to make her grand plan a reality. Her audacity was breathtaking, her cunning remarkable. She played the game of high finance, a reckless disregard for the rules, with a boldness that was, in many ways, admirable. But, as they say, pride comes before a fall. Her astronomical rise was matched only by her meteoric downfall. This was not just a tale of ambition and audaciousness, but also a cautionary tale of the perils of unchecked greed. And let's not forget the sprinkle of bribery. She was spreading around a little financial love to government officials, making it rain like a rap star at a Vegas club. Her arrest in 2022 was like opening a can of financial worms. It was a moment that reverberated throughout the financial world, sending shockwaves across the globe. It wasn't just another story of greed and corruption. It was a chase-size Azazajai. It was a tale that shone a spotlight on the darkest corners of the financial world, revealing a complex network of deceit and dishonesty that reached into the highest echelons of power. From the moment she was taken into custody, it was clear that this was no ordinary case. The media frenzy that erupted was akin to the frenzy that accompanies a high-profile celebrity scandal. But this was no Hollywood drama, this real life. The investigation that followed was as intense as it was wide-ranging, probing into every aspect of her financial dealings. The authorities left no stone unturned, delving into bank accounts, property holdings, corporate structures, and offshore accounts. It was a painstaking process that spanned months, a journey into the labyrinth of the global financial system. What they found was staggering. Not only was she implicated, but so were several other high-profile figures, including her husband and a number of central bank officials. The scale of the corruption was unprecedented. It was a web of deceit that extended far beyond one individual. It was a systemic problem, a cancer that had metastasized to the very heart of the financial system. This wasn't just a financial scandal, it was a soap opera of epic proportions, with every revealing a new twist, a new revelation that added another layer of intrigue to the unfolding drama. The narrative was as gripping as it was shocking, a chilling reminder of the depths to which greed can plunge even the most respected institutions. And the fallout, it was devastating. The integrity of Vietnam's financial institutions taken a severe blow. The trust that had been painstakingly built up over years was shattered in an instant. The damage was not just financial, it was reputational. The scandal shook investor confidence to its core. It was a body blow to a country that had been positioning itself as an emerging economic powerhouse. Foreign investors, once eager to tap into Vietnam's potential, are now treating the country like someone with bad breath at a party. They're backing away slowly and hoping no one notices. The scandal has left a stain that may take years to fade, a dark cloud that continues to hover over Vietnam's financial landscape. It's a sobering reminder of the high cost of corruption, a lesson that will hopefully not be forgotten. But there's a silver lining here. This trial is not just another legal proceeding, but rather a significant chapter in a comprehensive anti-corruption initiative that Vietnam is currently undergoing. It signifies a determined effort to cleanse the country's bureaucratic system from the deeply rooted practices of corruption and bribery that have tainted it over years of its existence. This sweeping initiative is reminiscent of an extensive spring cleaning, a cultural phenomenon that many of us are undoubtedly familiar with. However, the similarity goes beyond the surface. Just as the annual ritual of spring cleaning involves a thorough overhaul of our homes, digging into the deepest corners, shaking off the layers of dust settled over a long winter, and discarding things that no longer serve their purpose, so does this initiative in Vietnam. But instead of dust bunnies hidden under the bed or cobwebs stretching across forgotten corners of the room, they are dealing with dishonest officials and fraudulent practices. They are sweeping away the remnants of a system that was permissive of corruption, tolerating individuals who sought personal advantages by manipulating the legal machinery. The trial is part of a larger endeavor, a mission to foster a culture of transparency and integrity within the government and private sector alike. It's an ambitious project, requiring not only the engagement of the legal system, but also the support and involvement of the entire society. The aim is to create an environment where the thought of committing financial fraud would be discouraged, if not entirely eliminated. So, to those who may still harbor thoughts dishonestly of exploiting the system for personal gains, this trial serves as a stark warning. It is a reminder that the days of easy money and unpunished crimes are behind us. The authorities are not just watching, they are actively pursuing those who dare to cross the line. If you're considering the idea of bribing officials, perhaps it's time to reassess. The risks attached to such unscrupulous practices are now higher than ever. Legal repercussions are severe, and the social stigma attached is equally debilitating. The era of turning a blind eye to corruption, of treating such practices as mere occupational hazards, is long gone. The case of Truong My Lan, the accused in this trial, is a testament to this new reality. It's a perfect example of how the nation's stance on corruption has evolved. Lan's actions, once considered commonplace and easily overlooked, are now being scrutinized, judged, and penalized accordingly. The penalty for such infractions of law is no longer limited to a fine or a slap on the wrist. It extends beyond the realm of legal punishment, seeping into the social sphere, affecting not only the offender, their families and associates. The consequences are far-reaching and profound, and they are meant to serve as a deterrent, a strong message to anyone who might contemplate similar actions in the future. So, to sum it all up, if you're planning on committing a financial fraud, maybe don't. And if you're thinking about bribing officials, perhaps reconsider. Because as Truong My Lan found out, the penalty could be a tad bit more severe than a slap on the wrist.